When your toddler is in the middle of an epic screaming meltdown, your natural parent brain tells you to do one thing: talk them down. You explain, you reason, you negotiate. And when that fails, you talk even more, and then a little more. But what you probably don't realize is that all those words are actually throwing gasoline on the fire. The absolute best way to help your little one calm down isn't to talk to them. It's to completely zip your lips. Now wait, I am not telling you to turn your back, shut the door, and ignore a crying child while they kick and scream on the rug. You absolutely need to respond, just in a completely different way. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like in just a minute. But first, we need to break down why your words are utterly useless during a tantrum, because once you understand this, it will change how you parent forever. The brain science. When your child loses it, their brain's emotional alarm system, the amygdala, takes over. It has detected a massive threat and sounded the alarm. Now, to you and me, the threat is usually ridiculously small. Maybe you peeled their banana the wrong way, or you told them it's time to leave the park. To our logical adult brains, these are minor hiccups. But to a toddler's immature brain, the disappointment, sadness, or anger feels as severe as running from a wild animal. Their alarm system cannot tell the difference between my life is in danger and my sandwich is cut into squares instead of triangles. It just hits the big red panic button. Instantly, their brain drops into pure survival mode, triggering that ancient fight, flight, or freeze response. And here is the kicker. The moment they enter survival mode, the CEO of their brain, the prefrontal cortex, temporarily goes completely offline. Why does that matter? Because the prefrontal cortex is the exact area responsible for logic, reasoning, and processing language. Their ability to comprehend your words literally plummets to zero. This happens to us adults too. Think about the last time you were absolutely furious, and someone looked at you and tried to logically explain why you shouldn't be mad. Did you absorb any of it? No. Their words went in one ear and out the other, and it probably made you angrier. That is exactly what your toddler is experiencing when you try to explain why the blue cup is perfectly fine, or why they need to use their inside voice. They physically cannot process your words or make sense of them. But it gets worse. Think about what a tantrum looks like from your child's point of view. You are standing above them. Your hands are moving around, your voice is stressed, and your facial expressions are intense as you desperately try to talk them through it. Now, you are just trying to be a good, helpful parent. I get it. But to a child trapped in their survival brain, this towering figure with intense energy looks incredibly scary. Instead of feeling reassured, their brain registers more danger signals. So not only are your words bouncing off them, but your body language is accidentally screaming panic at their nervous system. This is exactly how a minor 5-minute meltdown turns into an exhausting 30-minute marathon that leaves you both in tears. During a meltdown, your child does not need a lecture. They don't need logic. They need to feel safe. Because the second they feel genuinely safe, that alarm bell turns off, their thinking brain boots back up, and they can finally hear you again. So, how do we create that safety? You prove they are safe through your silent, grounded presence. I know calm presence sounds a bit like therapist fluff, so let me give you a real-life example of how I did this with my own kid just a few days ago. My 3-year-old and his older brother were heading to the car. Suddenly, my youngest threw himself onto the concrete, screaming at the top of his lungs. Why? Because his big brother opened the car door first. Now, my old instinct would be to rush over, talk fast, and say, "Hey, it's okay, you can open the door next time. Please stop yelling." But knowing what I know about the brain, I knew my words and animated face would just validate his internal panic, leading to more screaming. Instead, I gently picked him up, flailing limbs and all, carried him inside the house, and set him on the living room rug. At this point, he was still screeching, kicking, and actively arching his back to get away from me. He was clearly telling me my face-to-face presence was too much stimulation in that moment. So, I took a breath, said exactly 2 words. "I'm here." And I took 3 steps back so I was slightly out of his direct line of sight, but still in the room. And then I waited quietly. I didn't try to lecture, reason, or fix it. I didn't say, take a deep breath, or use your words. Because honestly, those phrases are completely useless in the heat of the moment. Quick pause. Telling a screaming kid to use your words or calm down are actually 2 of 8 common parenting phrases I highly recommend you ditch today, because they almost always backfire. If you want to know what the other phrases are and the exact scripts to use instead, I put a link in the description for my completely free guide, 8 phrases to rethink and what to say instead. Go grab it after this video. Okay, back to my toddler on the rug. When I saw his body start to de-escalate, his crying became less intense and the thrashing stopped, which felt like an eternity, but in reality was maybe 60 seconds. I took a step forward so he could actually see me. But I still didn't talk. I just let my relaxed shoulders and calm face do the heavy lifting. Through my silent body language, his survival brain was seeing that his big emotions weren't dangerous. My steady presence was whispering to his nervous system, "We are not in danger. You are safe." A few moments later, he looked up at me. I softly asked, "Do you want a hug?" He nodded, crawled over, and buried his face in my chest. Again, I stayed quiet. I just rocked him. Once I felt his muscles go completely soft, his breathing slow down, and he made eye contact with me, I knew his prefrontal cortex, the thinking brain, was back online. That is the exact moment, and the only moment, I finally talked to him about the car door, how frustrating it was, and how we could solve the problem next time. Now I know exactly what you are thinking. Sure, that's beautiful in the living room, but what happens when my kid completely loses their mind in the middle of the grocery store because I won't buy the giant box of sugary cereal? Public meltdowns are a completely different beast. There is nothing quite like having your parenting judged by strangers, while your kid screams over a snack they absolutely cannot live without. But here's the reality check. Your child's brain does not care about your zip code. It works exactly the same whether they are in your house or in aisle 4. When they are in survival mode, they literally cannot hear what you have to say. So, what do you do with an audience? You have 2 options, depending on your comfort level and the time you have. Option 1. If you have a minute and feel comfortable, move your child to a quieter area, like an empty aisle. If you can't move them, that is fine. You build a bubble of calm right where you stand. Drop down to their eye level instead of towering over them like a giant. Keep your hands still and neutralize your face as best you can. Yes, it's incredibly hard when people are staring, but just like at home, say, "I'm right here," and become an anchor of silence. Wait for the storm to pass and the thinking brain to turn on before you explain why the cereal stays on the shelf. Option 2, the time crunch exit strategy. Maybe you are running late for a doctor's appointment or have another kid waiting at school pickup. You don't have time for a calm bubble. That is totally okay. Shift into emergency exit mode. Acknowledge the feeling quickly, offer one simple choice, and move. You say, "You are so mad about the cereal? I get it, but we have to leave right now. Do you want to hold my hand? Or should I carry you?" I know this contradicts my don't talk rule, but a firm, simple choice can sometimes break the trance and prevent it from escalating. It also gives you a sense of control when you are feeling totally out of control. If they don't answer, and they usually won't when they're seeing red, just scoop them up and leave. Remember, getting through a public nightmare gracefully isn't always possible. Sometimes surviving the moment is the absolute best you can do, and that is completely okay. Unfortunately, navigating epic meltdowns is just one of the many exhausting challenges of this age. The other behavior that pushes parents to the absolute brink is whining. Just like tantrums, whining is a completely normal child behavior. But how you react to that high-pitched, nails-on-a-chalkboard voice has a massive impact on whether it becomes a daily habit or phases out quickly. If you want to make sure you are handling whining in a way that actually gets them to stop complaining and use their normal voice without making the situation worse, you need to watch this video right here next. I'll show you exactly how to respond the second the whining starts. I'll see you over there.